All right, let's talk about your competitor's secret playbook. What if I told you it's not so secret? Today, we're diving into something most people see as just a bunch of boring legal paperwork, patents. But here's the thing, they're not just legal documents. They are a literal treasure map to what your competition is planning next.
Seriously, think about that for a second. What if you could see their next big move before they even announce it? It sounds a little like something out of a spy movie, right? But this isn't about corporate espionage. It's about knowing where to look for clues that are, believe it or not, right out there in the open.
And here's how it works. Every single time a company files for a patent, they're essentially laying out a public roadmap. They're broadcasting where their research and development money is going, the big problems they're trying to crack, and what new stuff they're dreaming up. It's all there. The only trick is learning how to read that map.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, where do I even start? Well, first things first, you need the right set of tools for the job. Let's get into the toolkit you'll need for this little intelligence mission.
Basically, you've got two paths you can take. On one side, you've got your free tools, like Google Patents, and honestly, they're great, super easy to use, totally free, and perfect if you just want to do a quick search and see what's out there. But if you need to go deep, and I mean really deep, that's where the commercial platforms come in. Think of services like Derwent. They have these amazing analytics and visualization features that can spot trends you would absolutely miss otherwise. So it really just comes down to how deep you need to dig.
All right, so you've got your tools. But just having a shovel doesn't mean you'll find treasure, right? You need a map, a plan. You can't just plug in your competitor's name and expect magic to happen. You need a real strategy.
And here's a super simple 4-step plan to get you started. 1. Know what you're looking for. What's your objective? Are you trying to understand their R&D, or maybe see if they're stepping on your toes? 2. Keywords. Brainstorm every technical term you can think of. 3. Narrow it down. Set your filters, date ranges, geography, specific companies. And 4, and this one is so important, write it all down. Keep records, because you're going to want to tweak and improve your search as you go. This really hits the nail on the head. If you jump in without a clear goal, you're just going to drown in data. It's overwhelming. You have to define your purpose first. That's the only way you'll find real, useful intelligence instead of a bunch of static.
Now, if you want to level up your search game, you've got to use these advanced features. First, you have Boolean operators. That's just a fancy way of saying using words like and, or, and not to fine-tune your results. Then there's proximity searches, which help you find words that are near each other. Super useful. And finally, citation analysis, which, trust me, is a total game changer. We'll get to that in just a bit. Okay, you've got the tools, you've got the plan. Now it's time for the fun part. Let's go on the hunt. Let's put this into practice and see what we can find.
So check this out. Here's a real-world example. Imagine you're exploring wearable health tech, but you want to avoid the whole smartwatch scene. It's just too crowded. You could use a search like this one. It's looking for documents that have both wearable device and health monitoring, but, and here's the key, it specifically excludes anything with the word smartwatch. See how that works? You're carving out a very specific little niche to investigate. So you run your search, and you get a ton of results. Now what? The analysis begins. And please, don't try to read every single word of every patent. You'll go crazy. Start with the abstracts, the little summaries at the beginning to get a quick feel. If something catches your eye, then you jump to the claims section. That's the real meat of the patent. Your whole goal here is to find the really important, high-impact patents and take notes on why they're a big deal. Okay, remember I mentioned citation analysis? This is so cool. Think of it like, well, like a patent's reputation. If a patent gets cited by a bunch of other patents later on, it's a huge sign that it's important. It's foundational. So if you find a patent that everyone keeps referencing, you've probably just stumbled upon a really big, landmark innovation in that field. Look, collecting all this information is one thing, but it's totally useless if you don't do anything with it. So now we're at the most important part, turning all that data into an actual, actionable strategy that gives you an edge. And the good news is, you don't have to sift through this mountain of data manually. There are amazing analytics tools out there that can take all this information and turn it into charts and graphs you can actually understand. They make it easy to see the trends, who the big players are, and this is the gold mine, where the gaps are. Those gaps, that's where your next big idea might be. And boom, this is what it can look like. A simple chart like this one can tell you more about your competitor's strategy than a dozen industry reports. All of a sudden, you see exactly where they've been putting their money and their brainpower for the past 3 years. It's just crystal clear.
Just look at that. 50%. Half of their recent patents are in medical AI. That's not a side project, people. That is a massive company-wide strategic shift. And knowing that, well, that one piece of information could completely change how you approach your own business for the next few years.
So, this is where the rubber meets the road. What do you do with this info? Well, you use it to inform your own R&D. Maybe you focus on the gaps they're not looking at. You use it to guide your own patent strategy. You can even use it to spot potential companies to partner with or maybe even acquire. The bottom line is, you stop just reacting to what your competitors do, and you start anticipating their next move.
Look, your competitors are out there leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for you to follow. They're telling you what they're up to. The only question left is, are you going to go out and find them?